Hey everybody, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and it's Monday, which means it's time for another video using my May for the Love of Homemade kits. And I am loving the color combination that I picked this month with the purple and periwinkle and black and white. I'm loving it. So I'm flipping through all of my pattern paper to decide which papers I want to use. And then I'm also going to flip through this card pack and pull out a bunch of these cards that have pattern papers, like patterns on them where I feel like I can punch out of them. So as you see, I have pulled out my hexagon punch and I'm going to go to town. So I go ahead and punch a ton of hexagons using some of the pattern paper as well as some of the pocket page cards. And rather than using just the full hexagons, I thought it would be fun to kind of create like a quilted look. So I'm going to add some extra pieces to a bunch of them, not all of them, but I am going to add a bunch of pieces to some of them to create this kind of quilted look. So some of them are going to get like half and half of pattern. Some of them are going to get 3 little areas of pattern. And I really like how that just kind of adds a little bit of a different look to the hexagons. So if you're someone who feels like you play with hexagons all the time and you need something a little bit different, that's kind of what I was going for with this more quilted look. And it would look really cool if you added some either machine or hand stitching to those little blocks as well. I didn't do that in this particular layout, but I could definitely, I thought about it. I could see where that element would definitely add to the texture and dimension. Basically, my hexagons are going to go kind of on an L shape. So I am putting a vertical column that's going to go through the edge of my 4x6 photo, and then I'm going to also put a horizontal line that's going to kind of be staggered and go through the edge of my photo as well. And it's going to leave, I'll move my layup up here in a second so you can see better, and I apologize for that, but it's going to leave a cool little gap in the bottom where I can build a big title. And so that I didn't really plan specifically for that, but it was a happy little accident that happened, and so it works. So I'm going to finish off adding some of these extra little sections to some of my hexagons because I want them to have those 2 different patterns rather than just being a hexagon. And so this particular picture is from Arizona, where we live in the winter. We don't really have like a true winter like compared to the rest of the country, but every once in a while it gets super cold here, and like strange things, according to my kids, happen. And so this is one of the trees like at the park right across the street from our house, and it has basically icicles hanging off all of the branches, and that is just something that made my kids' day. Like, they looked at that and just thought that that was the craziest thing they had ever seen. Being from Michigan, they just, they don't get it because I'm from Michigan, but they are Arizona babies. And so they just thought this was super cool. So we, of course, had to take pictures. I am going to get a little piece of doily in there, and I thought about layering up 2 different levels of doily, and it just wasn't working for me. So I'm just going to go with 1 little piece of doily, just to kind of help the photo stand out even more. Sorry about that, guys. I have this big black and white floral sticker, and it's going to get stuck to my picture, of course. It's going to end up going underneath my picture, just to kind of carry that floral detail into that section. And then I have this green circle from the sticker sheet that I wanted to use, but I'm putting it on some foam adhesive so that it stands up. And it just has like a little watercolor look to it. And I'm going to use that kind of in coordination with that floral. And that's going to kind of be my major embellishment cluster area, I guess you could call it. So I'm just getting that doily where I want it to be before I glue everything down. And see how it has that little block of space down there at the bottom? That's just going to work out perfectly for my title. So I'm super excited about how that accidentally turned out perfectly. So I'm just going to see where I can add a few of these little stickers from the sticker sheet. And they're mainly going to go in that 1 embellishment cluster that I have going on. I will come back later and add a little something to my title box down on the bottom. But because I have so many patterns and so many details already going on with all my hexagons, I really feel like I don't need a ton of embellishing. And you hear me say that a lot, where I do a lot of like playing with pattern paper, and I have so many cool details in the pattern paper that I feel like I don't need a ton of embellishing. And even though I love all of the embellishments, I really love creating those cool looks with paper. So I have this little acrylic piece that says "Love This," and it's in a perfect matching color. So I definitely want to get that onto this particular layout. And this like plastic bag that I'm going through just has everything that I had pulled out for my kit this month. So I'm making sure that I'm going back there first, pulling out embellishments and those kinds of things before I think about going back to my stash if I need to. I always want to try and use up the things that I've pulled for that month's kit first. So I have these little tiny star buttons that are going to get on there. I have that little piece of acrylic, and I really like how those colors and everything all work together. One of the alphabets in this month's recipe was a tiny alpha, so I want to use those little puffy sticker alpha from Rosie Studio, but I need a bigger alpha to pair them with. So this I did have to go back to my stash for. So I'm using these Pink Fresh Studio like big blocky white puffy alpha. And it's, my full title is going to say Justin AZ Winter. So I'm going to put AZ Winter in this bigger font, and I had to create an E, so that's why it looks kind of funky with the F. I did a little like alpha surgery here to make it so that I would have an E because I was all out of E's already. It's funny that like to me with the alphabets, they give us way more of the vowels, and I still always run out of the vowels. Like, give me more E's. I apparently need all the E's. I don't know. But the good news is I have a Z because I hardly ever use those. So we have AZ Winter, and then I'm going to add Just Ann with those little puffy sticker mini alphas. And I love creating a title like this where I have combined a couple of different fonts or styles together to create that longer title element. So I would definitely recommend kind of being on the search for where you can use a longer title, or for some fun like quotes or song titles or phrases that would make cute titles, because I love that look of combining multiple fonts together. And so once I have that title down on the bottom, I feel like I need just a little something as far as an embellishment goes right in that space. And so I'm going to add this black and white flower, and this is from the Pink Fresh package. And I feel like that does a good job of filling in that space. And there's also in here a little set of leaves that's in like a pale bluish color, and I'm also going to grab that and tuck it in just to kind of finish off that little detail. And so then I'm to the point where I want to see if there's any kind of little confetti type of things that I can add. And so I'm going to open up the like mint green color of these little diamond dot pieces, and I'm going to put some of those in the centers of the flowers, and then I'm also going to put some of those in just kind of scattered by my two embellishment clusters. And then I'm also adding some black and white enamel dots to each of those clusters as well. So just going to be a tiny bit of detail, nothing too like major down there, but it does add just a little pop of color. And that's basically going to do it for this layout. I am loving putting those little diamonds in the middle of flowers because they have a little bit of a shine to them. So I think that is such a cute little addition, and they're super fun. So I'm having fun playing around having those in my kit because I haven't used those in scrapbooking before. Do make sure you check out everybody else who is posting a video using their May kit today, and I will be back to see you guys again really soon. Bye, everybody!